Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Art Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Art Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálára fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Art Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Art Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Art Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Yeah, you ready? Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to our show, Enough is Enough, Soro Soke, sponsored by Betta9ja. I'm your host and anchor, Mr. Femi Oke, and welcome to the show dedicated to debate and discussions towards a better Niger for all of us. Tonight's show promises to be an interesting one, and our topic is 2023, time for an IGBO president. Rotation versus mediocrity, what is your view? My guests to deliberate this topic tonight, we've been having difficulty connecting with Nigeria, but these ones are via Zoom, both in the UK and in Nigeria. We have, first of all, Mr. Spencer ANIENWELU. Good evening, Spencer.
Hi, good evening, Femi. Good evening, viewers.
Good evening and welcome to the show. I also have Dr. CHIDO and co-founder of Hungry and Angry. Good evening to the show.
Yeah, good evening, Femi, and good evening to the viewers.
Fantastic. He's from Anambra, just like Mr. Spencer. I also have Lady Marlene ONYEOCHA, the CEO of, also with Spencer, CEO of Prime View Television UK. Good evening, Lady Marlene.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for having me.
And she hails from Abia State. Last but not least, but we seem to have problems connecting. We're going to have Honorable STANFORD ARINZE. He's the special advisor, the senior special advisor to Imo State Governor Hope Uzodimma on public enlightenment. But he's not with us now, but he may join us shortly. So you can contact us if you want to ask any questions on +44 791 809 952. You can also contact us on +44 203 774 7220. You can also post comments and messages on Facebook handle and any questions at Safe Omega Media. We're going to start the show by discussing whether Nigeria is ready for an Igbo president, whether Igbos want the presidency, what are the best parameters for choosing our president, should we have rotation or promote excellence and meritocracy as opposed to mediocrity. We'll also look at likely candidates and finish with some current affairs issues. As you can see, I'm wearing my Isiagu and properly dressed to start off with the mandatory chant, which is Igbo Kwenu, Igbo Kwenu, Igbo Kwenu. Okay, Kwezonu. All right. Okay, I tried my best. All right. So let's get ready to rock and roll. I'll start off by citing this adage: even though you hide the soup pot, the nose will still seek it out and find it, meaning that there should be no no-go areas in our political discussion. With that in mind, since the first question I'm going to start with, and I'm going to put it open to, I believe it's going to be Spencer. You're going to have this one first, the first shot. And basically is, since independence in 1960, and we had the three main nations that dominate the Nigerian landscape, namely the Hausa, Igbo, and Yoruba, amongst some 300 plus other nations. The Igbo have never been elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Does this speak to the validity of the marginalization claims coming from the Southeast political zone?
Well, thank you, Femi, for having me on the program.
Yes.
I think you're doing a wonderful job, just like private television. We're out there to sensitize and enlighten people, and that's a gap I think we're filling. That's not really out there. I'm in Nigeria. Sorry, viewers. Apologies for joining the program from my car. I just came from a meeting, but I just said I had to join this program. For me, the question is, it's about marginalization, yeah? Yeah,
the fact that since independence, we've not had an Igbo president. The three main tribes or the nations, So what do you say to that?
Well, that's right. Since independence, initially we had Nnamdi Azikiwe, who we see as the father of Nigeria. He's an Igbo man, and he was like a ceremonial president.
Absolutely.
Since then we haven't had an Igbo president. And coming to I think it's the Fourth Republic since 1999. Yes. That's when, for me, I really take it on from. Nigeria has had this system. It's not constitutional, but it's like a gentleman's agreement where it's been agreed that it needs to move around for equity's sake, for justice, for being included and being inclusive. So everyone's known it that initially was the Yoruba people through Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, your people, Femi. He was the president.
I'm a Nigerian.
As a way of compensating for the Abiola issue and all of that.
Absolutely.
After him, we saw someone from the South, which was Goodluck Jonathan. After Yaradua, someone from the North. So you can see that it was initially the North, but because Goodluck Jonathan was his vice president, he took over following the death of Yaradua. So somehow people say Obasanjo manipulated it and put him there, knowing that that probably won't last long in the position. His power went to the South. After the South, power went back to the North, as we're experiencing right now with Muhammadu Buhari. Now, what we're saying is the two zones left out now are the Northeast, the Southeast, and if there's the North Central.
North Central.
Right? Now, but Nigeria stands on a tripod. Nigeria is mainly the three dominant tribes, which we know, which is the white man who based everything all around, is the Hausa, Yoruba, and the Igbo. Now, those other two tribes, main tribes, have had people as presidents of Nigeria, going back to 1966, after Zik. Yeah, now we're saying that it's our turn. There's no reason why it will now become our turn. People start saying, there's nothing, it's not constitutional. No, we need to make this known. We need to have Igbos being inclusive. We're at the moment, and there's a bit of insecurity and all of this. All this is down to what we're saying. So I don't want to go too far. That's the program we're going to discuss a bit more. I want to have a preamble, and let's take it slowly so I can let other people talk as well. All I'm saying to you now is that I believe that as it stands, there's no excuse, there's no reason why someone from the Igbo extraction shouldn't be put forward by all political parties right now. Because we have people who are competent, we have people who are experienced, we have people who are governors, who have sat on the seat of power at the highest level, who can take on this job.
Let me bring Dr. Chido into it now. Dr. Chido, Mr. Spencer is speaking to the marginalization and saying that it has got some legs. Do you also ascribe to the theory that the heartache and misery brought on by the combination of the pogroms and the civil war that saw the needless deaths and sacrifice of over 1 million Nigerians, all on all sides, that is, will it not be truly atoned until we have a Nigerian where an Igbo becomes a democratically elected president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think it's really a complex problem, but we need to be very sensitive on how we use, that narrative, the Igbo president, Yoruba president, or Hausa president, because it could further cause more division, if you understand what I'm trying to say. Because essentially, to me, it's about a president, not what geographical area that you come from. Okay. Think about it. Nigeria is been, we had this history of tribal divide, which, as you mentioned, was brought about by the colonial masters. But there's need for us to address that issue, because I think part of the problems we have today is as a result of tribal divide, which tend to play a lot of it plays in people's mind. And then, our approach to politics, our approach to, existence as Nigerians, if we continue to pay so much attention to tribe, I don't know if we might be able to solve our problems. Because, we might end up getting an Igbo president tomorrow, which I, as an Igbo man, I'm not really worried about, where a president comes from. I want a president that
Okay, Doctor, can you hear me? So in your estimation, we shouldn't really make it a tribal thing. The president can come from anywhere.
Yeah, I kind of have that belief, considering, the exposure that I have in life and understanding how leadership have worked in other places. Most countries that function, you don't see this tribal sentiment. It doesn't really play.
You'll be surprised because we don't delve deeply into countries. You'll be finding that the Flemish in Belgium, they have issues with the French speaking Belgian. So let's not go there. Let me bring Lady Marlene. You have. Say that again. I said that in very many countries they have issues with nationalities, and it does form a problem.
It depends on what countries you're referring to. If you're referring, excuse me, sir, if you're referring at countries in Africa, that's fine. But countries in Europe, that's the countries I tend to make a comparison, not with Africans, because Africans have a unique problem.
But that's why So, for example, I'll give you another example, which is not an African country, is Canada, where they have issues with the French-speaking versus the English-speaking. Trudeau is a French-speaking. That was a big issue in their recent election.
Yeah, but that's fine. But Canada don't have a broken down situation like we have in Nigeria.
Yeah. So I don't want to delve on
other
countries.
Have militant groups.
Yeah, Doctor. What I'm suggesting to you is that the notion of tribes or nations having a say in where the president comes from is not just an African issue. I've listed Belgium. I've just now listed Canada. We could go on. Let me bring in Lady.
Okay, you asked me my position, right? You did ask me my position.
I want to bring my. Okay, that's fine. We're going to come back to you on another question. Well, let me bring Lady Marlene into it. Lady Marlene, are you there with us?
Yes, I am. Can you hear me?
Good, fantastic. To quash the chance of marginalization, because even though we don't want to say it, people are screaming that there's marginalization. They're saying that Nibos are second-class citizens.
I'm sorry, I'm not going to do this program. Bye-bye. I'm not going to do this program. Bye-bye.
Okay.
We haven't finished. We're halfway through the program. It's not all about marginalization, Doctor. There's other issues that we're going to talk about. These are the first loads of questions, but it's up to you. Anyway, to quash the chance of marginalization, some people are claiming that they're second-class citizenships and so on. It's not time for Nigeria to rotate the presidency rather than having it just one-sided. Or do you believe, like Doctor, that it doesn't matter where the presidency comes from, it can be based on meritocracy?
You see, Femi, that is his opinion. That is his he's speaking from his mind. I understand where he's coming from, but his opinion is totally different from mine.
Everybody's entitled to their opinion, and no one's stopping him from saying his opinion.
Not just marginalization. This marginalization, we're talking about political, economic, and not constant intimidation of the Igbo people, and then refusal to develop the Igbo land from the federal level. All these put together will push us to Soke. It's about time we have somebody that will speak for our people. It is due for Southeast, and it's not like now that it's due for Southeast that you will then come back and say, okay, anybody can be, as long as the person is good enough to govern or to be the president, will appoint him. No, we had Obasanjo came in and gone twice. We've had people from the northeast, northwest. Okay, maybe was it from Kogi side? Maybe we haven't heard presidency from that side. And when Jonathan came, yes, South, but that's not. He didn't have interest of the Southeast per se when he was there towards development. So now what we need is somebody that will come there. Because I believe an Igbo man is the only person that can take Nigeria out of the problem where we are now. Nigeria has gotten to the situation that is such that there is no, especially with security, there is no turning back. And I believe both economically and politically, it's only Nigerian and it's only an Igbo man that can get us out of what we are now. But before we can get there, Igbo man also has to be together before we can get there. Yes, we've been marginalized, if you're asking me that. Yes, we've been politically and economically. Yes, there's been constant intimidation in the higher positions towards Igbo men. And I think this is the right time for us to come. 2023 is the right time for everyone to come there.
Okay, thank you for that. I have, I think we have Honorable Stanford ARINZE, the Senior Special Advisor to Imo State Governor Hope Udizima on Public Enlightenment. Are you there with us? Good evening to the show, sir.
Good evening, Honorable Femi Oke.
Fantastic. Nice to have you with us. Now, as we started, I want to ask you, fantastic. I want to ask you another question just on the same front, because these first questions are going to be on a similar nature. Then we're going to move the question. Many acknowledge Yoruba were unlikely to have attained pinnacle of democratic presidency if not for June 12 and the death of MKO Abiola. So now we also had President Goodluck Jonathan, who came in when there was men doing a lot of devastation in the South. Following, we've had President Muhammad Buhari also. He came in following Boko Haram doing loads of unspeakable things in the north. Now we have the challenge of insecurity now coming up in the south, although it's all over the nation, but we have a serious danger coming in the southeast. Do you think that having an Igbo president after 63 years of independence will help quell and heal all the wounds in the southeast?
Well, thank you for having me. I want to say that Nigeria is a developing nation. Mm-hmm. In democracy, we are very much in the kindergarten levels.
Yes.
And we can't expect a miracle, in terms of attainment of our goals, our the democratic goals that a standard developed country like the US could have. So it is a gradual thing. Now, over to your question. I tend to believe that we are in a democracy. And democracy has to do with elections. And elections, you win elections with figures. I understand, truly speaking, that for a federation like Nigeria, with the federating units, there is a need, there is a moral burden that we have as a federation to make sure there is a sense of equity. You have to treat individual federating units with some level of respect, so that they should not be seen always as outsiders when it comes to issues of presidency. Now, I am not saying this to say that the Igbo man will be behind a plot of gold. It is rather taken.
We're losing you. We're losing you, Honorable. Honorable, we're losing you.
You can't take it by demonstrating. You can't take it hearing me.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Yeah, we can hear you now.
As our institution needs really gradual process to advance. Now, for the fact that we have a federation with the constituting federating units, we need to respect each and every one of these units. Now, there are three major tribes in Nigeria. You have the Hausas, you have the Yorubas, you have the Igbos. I intentionally called Igbos last, so that you don't say I am claiming first when I am not the first. Does that with this
We're breaking up, Doctor. We're breaking up. Maybe we're going to have to come back to you. We're going to have to come back to you. Sorry about that. But
the three groups, major ethnic groups. And there's this unwritten document.
Okay, I can hear you.
It's not coming from me. I'm hearing you clearly.
Okay, go on.
So as you make me to cut, and I want to reconnect.
You said there's an unwritten document, you said.
There is an unwritten document, maybe, a charter of equity, that power needs to rotate between the North and the South. And if you look at what has been in place over time, power has been in the North. It has also come to the South. It has also gone back to the North. It is time again to come back to the South. When it came to the South, it was here in the South for two occasions. It served the needs, the cravings of the Southwest and the cravings of the South-South. The only southern portion that has not really tested power is the Southeast. So you find out that it is only normal if it were something that people should really show some level of understanding now, that if this time it comes down to the South, it should be normal that the South-South, the Southeast, the Southwest and the South-South should naturally hands off if power can be given by that method. But we find out that we need some level of intelligence to play our national politics.
Okay. So
the Southwest.
Yeah, so let's hold on there.
Let me just round up.
Okay, round up. Go on.
I give it to the Southwest. They seem to have the key, how they were able to convince the North always to be on their good books. So that you find out that what the Southeast needs now, coming from the checkered history of civil war and the fact that we seem not to have been reconnected even after the civil war, what we need now to do is to bend low. We need to really connect with the different ethnic nationalities and let them understand that coming into this presidency, we are not coming to continue with the war. We are coming to bring what we have to the table. And actually, I will tell you this thing, although I'm an Igbo man, there is something that Igbo man has that will be brought to this table and Nigeria will not be the same. There's a sense of, there's something that is lacking in this country right now. We need the managerial acumen, the industry of the Igbo man to be able to harness the enormous resources this country has.
Let me bring.
If we give this, hello.
Yeah, let me bring Spencer in because of time.
If we give this opportunity to the Southeast,
we need to. I'll come back to you. I will come back to you. I do acknowledge your point. So, Spencer, I want to come to you. Can you hear me, Spencer?
I can hear you loud and clear, Femi.
Fantastic.
Yes, I can hear you.
So, as Honourable was saying, you know that there's a gentleman's agreement. He says about rotation, and he also looked at the history, and he said that the Yorubas have played their game, which has enabled them to be in the preeminence now. But if we look back in history, that has not necessarily been the case. If you look at the history, as you mentioned, the history, and we go back to 1960s, and you notice that the first republic was a how can I put it, cooperation between Zeke and Tafawa Balewa. If you go into the 80s, when we had the second republic, we had Shagari and Ekweme. Okay, and even if we look at the first 16 years of democracy after 1999, the dominant party was PDP, and that had 95% support from the Southeast. Has the Southeast been playing its politics well? Mr. Spencer.
Okay, thank you, Femi, once again. Before I answer that question, I'd like to touch on the point made by Dr. Chido before he left, right?
Yeah,
and that argument, I always hear about that argument about it doesn't matter where the presidency comes from, yeah? Which ordinarily would be right. But I'm telling him that in terms of, because you try to help him, and I'm going to help you, you try to cite a few countries like the Flemish people. Switzerland, for instance. In Switzerland, power rotates. Switzerland is one of the most advanced countries in the world. Power is rotated amongst the
Germans, the French, and the Italian.
And it's rotated, and it's been working perfectly for them. And let me tell you something, and it's very important. Based on the lopsidedness of our population in Nigeria, what we would have if we don't embark on this rotation system, which in quotes is not really the ideal, but it will work. If we don't do that, what it means is that every time we go for presidential elections every 4 years, a northerner could actually win. All they have to do is align with one part of the country and they'll produce the president. Is that what we want? We're talking about marginalization here. Now, what we're saying is power needs to be rotated, right? And moved around everyone. Now, back to your question about has the IGBO people played the right politics? Let me tell you, whether you like it or not, you judge whether we play the right politics based on what side we're on in terms of the winning side. While we were, while the PDP held sway, it wasn't seen that the Southeast wasn't playing the right politics. The Southeast were playing the right politics then, because we were aligning with the people that are in power. If you know what I'm saying. So
that's exactly what I was saying. That's exactly what I'm saying as well.
Yeah. So that argument pops up now because the APC is in power and the Southeast as a bloc, obviously over time have been in support of the PDP. We know that. It doesn't mean they're not playing the right politics. It just means that they're aligning to a certain section. But let's now look at what's happening right now. In the Southeast at the moment, right, we have 5 states. Amongst those 5 states, we have 2 states with the APC and 2 states with the PDP. Now, when you now look at the Anambra state, that's the only state that has a political party, Abga. You now realize that actually Abga, in quotes, is sympathetic to the APC. So really, the Southeast is actually an APC state block.
We're yet to find out. The elections will come.
So these are the things that people don't even understand and look at. So at the moment, all I'm saying is, at the moment, let's not embark on this notion of the Southeast wasn't voting for APC and all of that. Things change. If you look at the numbers from the first elections when Buhari first came into power in 2015 and looked at the second elections, you see that the numbers that voted for APC have been increasingly growing. And it's going to keep on growing. And at the moment, what we're saying is, if you're now embarking on having this notion that all political parties, obviously, as a gentleman's agreement, will produce or put forward somebody of an Igbo extraction, I'm telling you that overwhelmingly, which other political party does that would have an Igbo person come through as the choice of people from the Igbo expression. But what we don't want again is imposition of an Igbo person who the people don't really want.
All right, we're gonna get to the possible candidates in the second part of the show.
Yes.
Let me move on to
let me finish though quickly. Yeah. So what I'm saying now is that we need to, like Lady Marlene rightfully pointed out, we need to not just say go on with this notion that suddenly it doesn't matter. When it's our turn, it's not fair. We talk about fairness, equity, justice, right? That marginalization issue is why I see people like the iPod popping up. You understand? Okay. We don't want that. Once you have an Igbo president emerge,
I don't agree with
you. I'll come back to you, sir, Honorable. Let me just bring Lady Marlene back into it. He's already disagreed. Now, Lady Marlene, I want to move to you. It's unfortunate that Dr. CHIDO excused himself, because this program is meant to have a variety of views, and he could have stayed here to express his own opinions so that we can hear his point of view. I'm not here to say that this is the point or that I'm neutral and this is a balanced program. So he had the opportunity and he can still come back into the show. The question to you is, we've been hearing from Honorable Stanford and Spencer that this is time for rotation. Now, my question to you is, the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has no rotational presidency provisions, and neither do the APC or the PDP. Although PDP has zoning provisions, APC has this, in quotes, gentleman's agreement of rotation between the North and the South. But I'm not sure that such an agreement made in the dark rooms at night, will see the light of day, as even Governor Yaya Bello from the North Central, from Kogi State, is openly expressing his interest to contest in 2023. I guess he's not party to that agreement. The cards seem stacked against an Igbo presidency. What do you say to that, Lady Marlene?
Femi, you see, when it comes to presidency of Nigeria, it's a game of greed. That's the way I categorize it, greed. I remember greed and numbers. I remember.
Okay, I'm glad you added numbers.
Yeah, Issa Fantua said, I remember him saying one time that the only thing Igbos need to gain this thing is to engage other Nigerians more proactively. And that is when you focus on, we're talking about Igbo, when we focus on Igbo, not just talking about Kogi guy coming in, don't forget Tinubu wants to run for presidency also. But
I only mentioned Kogi because that's in the north, and if it's rotation to the south, he's in the north, so he shouldn't really be standing. Go on.
Yeah, so, but then, well, he's still, I'm just categorically saying he's still there. So all we need is, it is, like Spencer echoed me, it is zonal to the east. There's no two ways about it. Whether it's in the Constitution or it's not, because the Constitution they haven't been using the Constitution ever since they've been doing all these things before. So why will it be now then they will start touching the Constitution of either APC or PDP or all that? All we need is to me, my advice would be for the Igbos now to come together, extend outside Igbo land, outside Southeast, especially in the north. Extend your arms to the north, and then get votes from there, regardless somebody coming from northeast or northwest or north south. It will not matter where he's coming, whoever it's zonal for the east, and the east needs to come together. Extend even in that Kogi, maybe he's trying to use that. He wants to distract the votes of the east, knowing that right now.
Or maybe he wants to be the vice presidential candidate. There's so many machinations to this politics. As you said, the game of greed, the game of numbers.
But now this is the time for Igbos to then stand up, because what they did in 2019 with Obi and Atiku, it was Igbos that actually fought Obi against Ekweremadu. So if it still amounts to Igbos being united in one voice.
Okay, let me bring Honorable Stanford back into the equation. look, as we've been saying, democracy is a game of numbers, and also it's a game that has to be played. I still say that I still ask the question whether the game that was played in the Southeast in the 2019 elections, was that a good game? You did say that the Yorubas played a good game, but what I would say to you is that over time you will see that the Yorubas normally had their eggs all in one basket, and that basket tended to be outside of center. That's why for 16 years they were out of governance. Now they played the game, a different game, which brought them to the fore and to the center. Now with 2019, and even in 2019, you see that the Yoruba vote was split. It wasn't all for APC. However, if you go to Southeast, all their votes, 95%, went to PDP. That's why I keep asking, even though you had the governorship, we're talking about the presidency now, it went 95% to PDP. Did they play their game right? That's what I'm saying. It's a game of numbers. Are they playing their game right for 2023? I go back to you, Honorables. Honorable, are you there, sir?
Well,
He's frozen a bit.
Oh, we're losing you. Can you? We'll come back to you if you. This is so sad. We can't hear anything you're saying, sir. Sorry. Hello? Maybe we'll come back.
This is a game of number.
Sounds very no. Okay, if you can sort out your connection's very bad. We can't hear you at all.
Are you hearing me?
It's breaking up. We're going to go on a break shortly, and then we'll come back to you, Honourable Stanford, because we really want to hear your contribution to the show. Okay. Yeah, but we can't hear you at all. We can't hear you at all. We'll go on a break, but let me first of all just pass this on to Spencer. Mr. Spencer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll come back to Honourable. Hopefully, we'll answer that question when I come back. But looking at the way the Southeast has played their politics through throwing everything behind PDP in all the elections since the Third Republic in 1990, can the PDP count on IGBO bloc votes in 2023, even though PDP are likely to field another northern candidate in Atiku? You know, it's unlikely with Secondus still being the party chairman. Ordinarily, you can't have a presidential candidate coming from the South, plus the party chairman also being from the South. He's still staying there. How strong in the voice of Southeast in the APC?
Oh yeah, Femi, thanks for that. You know, you're talking about the issues about whether we're playing the right politics in the Southeast, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ordinarily, a typical Igbo person, let me tell you the truth, a typical Igbo person is not given to politics, right? He's more interested in his business and how he runs and how making money and just having a good life. But what I can say is most of our political leaders, in terms of governance, who know what it means for us, have tried to bring us to that stage where we start seeing the light. I'll give you an instance. When Governor Rochas was in the ABGA party and saw the movement going towards the APC, he quickly decamped and joined ABGA. And left ABGA and joined the APC. That was the first state that joined during that amalgamation and joined. You know, the formation of APC.
The formation. Yeah.
He took a section of ABGA and they joined APC. Now we saw that same thing transpire in Ebonyi State, where Governor David Umahi, who was a PDP man, let's face it, the PDP is the juggernaut, is the big mammoth of politics in Nigeria. So what we're seeing is a breakaway. So Governor David Umahi also broke away, took his people into APC. So what we're saying now is that when it comes to 2023, yes, in quotes, or the way you want to say it, our people haven't played the right politics.
I'm not saying that. I'm just asking the question. You are the ones answering.
No, it's a question, but it's also a given. that we haven't played the right politics in terms of, as a bloc, aligning appropriately in terms of where the power is shifting to, right? Okay. Now, while, like I said before, when power was with the PDP, no one brought about issue of whether we were playing the right politics or not. Because obviously we were aligned with where the power was at the center.
Absolutely.
Now it shifted away. We're taking our time to catch up. And I feel that when an Igbo president or an Igbo candidate is presented at that level, I can tell you for sure that if the PDP zones or gives their own presidential ticket to another, and say, for instance, the APC presents an Igbo person of Igbo extraction who is liked by the people, I can tell you that it will now transcend political party issues, and people from Igbo was the support now.
Okay. Honorable Stanford is trying to come in, but we still. Are you there? I know you're also in Owerri, the same as Spencer is in Owerri as well. But for some reason, where Spencer is, the connection seems better. Can you hear us, Honorable? Honorable? Is he off? Okay. No, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to go on a break now, and we're going to come back and continue with this program and talking about the options for an Igbo president in 2023. You're watching It's Enough is Enough, Soro Soke. We'll see you after the break.
Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Art Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Art Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálára fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Art Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Art Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Art Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
Hi guys, my name is Yabo, and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show. Enough is Enough, Soro Soke. You have your host, Mr. Femi Oke, and my guest, we have Spencer, Mr. Spencer. Sorry, I've got your surname. My screen has moved off. Hold on, just a minute. Oops. Right, we have Mr. Spencer ANIENWELU and Lady Marlene ONYEOCHA. We also have Honourable Stanford ARINZE, but we haven't bad connections with them. So I want to take the next question to Lady, and of course we're talking about 2023 and the prospect of an Igbo presidency. We've touched base on a few things, but I want to just come to you, Lady Marlene. And we were talking about the way the Southeast was playing their politics. This question now is that we have the long-standing separatist agitations for Biafra Republic, and it does not fill many Nigerians with confidence of an Igbo presidency. Are the antics of IPOB likely to derail the Igbo presidency agenda?
Well, as bad as it may sound, yes, I think it will be. But that's what Ohaneze Ndibo is trying to put together to make us all come together, because a house that is divided cannot rule its nation. What others are saying outside is the way Igbos are, what's going on in Southeast, is that how they're going to come and rule Nigeria? Yes, the IPOB has been, Spencer mentioned earlier on in the first half, that it was marginalization that made the IPOB more strong, in agitation. But yes, it will affect it might not. Let me not say yes. I believe between now and 2023, we will get things right. The Igbos will get things right. Ohaneze is speaking now. IPOB and all that, we're trying to gather all our children together because we're all one. Igbos are one. Anywhere we go. So we're trying to come together, make things better. And between now and 2023, I'm sure it might not affect it. And yes, we'll still be able to produce. If all the Igbos, regardless parties now, regardless APC, PDP and all that, if Igbos will come out and select one person, regardless the party the person is, and we all support the person, yeah, I don't think IPOB will have an effect on the president, picking the president.
Okay, all right. Before I get the follow-on to that question to either Honourable or Mr. Spencer, I just got some questions for some people that have put on the web. I've got this one from Mr. Tim Udukoya. He says, with full respect, Nigeria was not merged on ethnicity lines, but northern and southern protectorate. So I was talking about ethnicity. He's most obviously saying is irrelevant. Mr. Adebayo Abiodo, my question, is Igbo ready for the presidency? Well, that's the question that we're asking ourselves. I have another guy saying, Adeboye Olugbenga says, from my own point of view, of Nigeria is dated back to the outbreak of civil war in 1967 that Igbo wanted to break away, which was not successful. In view of these, Nigerians believe that if an Igbo secures presidency, they will tend to actualize their dreams, which is what we're actually mentioning here. So is Honourable here with us, or we still not having vocals? Honourable Stanford, are you there? Okay, Mr. Spencer, are you there? Mr. Spencer? We're not seeming to have Spencer even. Let me see.
Spencer, unmute yourself, he's muted.
Yeah, Spencer, can you unmute yourself? You're muted.
Oh, sorry, apologies. Yeah, I muted myself because I didn't want the background noise around there too.
Okay, good. Yeah, so I was asking about the question about following up from the first question, and of course we've had the question from a questioner viewer.
I'm hearing you loud and clear.
Okay, Honourable, you can hear us loud and clear. I can hear you now. So following up from the question from one of the viewers, IPOB has a strong vocal following in the Southeast and are agitating for the boycotting of the 2023 elections and even the Anambra elections in November. For them, the prospect of an Igbo president leading Nigeria is likely to render a massive dent into arguments of marginalization and end the quest for Biafra. is this not a stumbling block again, another stumbling block for an Igbo presidency? Honorable Stanford.
He's gone. Stanford is gone again.
Oh my God. All right, Mr. Spencer, can you answer that? Can you take that?
Well, no, I was going to touch on what Lady Marlene was talking about, the question you asked her about
Which
whether...
this is a follow-up on that, because as I said...
Yeah, but I wanted to mention about that.
Okay,
briefly.
go on.
What I wanted to say was, you talked about whether if the power is given to the Southeast, given the agitation by IPOB, whether it's going to be a hindrance. Now, if you look at it, relatively, Boko Haram were causing mayhem in the north, right?
Absolutely.
But power was still given to Buhari from the north. Oh, you might say it's not from the northeast or whatever, but power was given because the rotation is about north and south, isn't it? So power was still given to someone from the north. So that argument is still flawed again. There's no arguments there. So there's no excuse. What we're saying is, this is our turn. It's a turn of the south. Now, when we come to the south, it's like saying, all right, it's Spencer and ANIENWELU, the ANIENWELU family, it's your turn to take this. When we get indoors, we now know who should rightfully, whose turn it is, right? And that's what we're saying. When the power is now given to the south, we will now talk to ourselves as brothers in the south and say, look, the southwest, you've had power, the south, you've had power. It's only fair that we project someone from the southeast across all party lines. Let's do it for once. Why can't we be fair? Politics can actually be fair. We've seen it in Switzerland. It's fair in Switzerland. So there's no excuse. All these things are just excuses to try and what we're seeing now is there's a plan even to destabilize Nigeria, to make it all go back to the military again. Because it's the turn of the Igbos. Why is it when it comes to our turn, something happens? So we're not having it. That's why, if care is not taken, what IPOB and people like that want will actually happen. Because people are selfish, and IPOB will now say, you see what we're telling you? There's marginalization.
Well, let's speak to Mr. Spencer. Let's speak to IPOB, because as I said in my follow-up question, they're talking about boycotting 2023. They're talking about also boycotting the number elections in November, which you say is possibly going to go to APC. So are these also not further hindrances? So if you've got people holding your own the IPOB, if you like, I don't say that everybody in Southeast is an IPOB supporter, but they're going to be a negative factor if they're going to be continuing that. Is that not an added problem?
It's not a problem. Femi, let me tell you, IPOB is only a minuscule number. Most Igbos that I know don't even support the agitation by IPOB. In quotes, obviously, anyone, the quest for self-determination is a valid one. Anyone can choose or aim to be self-independent. Yeah? There's nothing wrong with that. But where people have an issue with IPOB is their modalities, the way they're going around about it. Yeah? But all I'm saying to you is that alone is not enough. IPOB as an organization do not represent the entirety of Igbos. In the last election, you still see it. The numbers that came up on the Southeast were humongous, even though they were still telling people not to vote. You understand? So let's not make all Igbo people IPOB members. I'm not a member of IPOB. I understand.
That's not my suggestion. I'm just. I understand.
I align with some of their beliefs, like most Igbos. But ultimately, when it comes to elections and voting, we know that is our right. No one can take it away from us to determine who is.
Femi, before you ask another question, Femi, what Spencer is saying, IPOB, they have changed the story again. It's no more that they will not allow election in Anambra State or other states. What they're saying now is, we will allow the election, but we will be there to count the votes.
Okay.
They've changed it again.
Okay, that's great. So remember, Spencer. So just a minute, Spencer. Just remember. I'm going to let you speak, but Spencer, just remember, I'm the one asking the questions. It's not necessarily my point of view. But go ahead.
No. I'm not saying. Don't forget that these questions are people's opinions.
Absolutely.
And I want to say something. I'm making my voice a bit loud because I feel like maybe perhaps where I'm at is not really the ideal position to be talking. That's why it might seem like I'm shouting. I don't mean to be shouting. Yeah.
Right.
And I'm not. So, but apologies. But I'm back to what we're saying, right? There is no excuse for when power comes to our turn. This is why people have that valid belief that, well, I don't believe it, that Igbos are being marginalized, that watch, when it's our turn, something will happen and they will now say it's not our turn again.
Okay.
All right, and then you talked about this fear of 1966, 1967 to 70 war. That where the whole idea is once an Igbo person gets in there, he's going to
break up Nigeria.
But that's not true, because whoever gets in that position swears to an oath to uphold the constitution of the country, right? All the governors. How come none of the governors have gone and done what they wanted?
In any case, the National Assembly, as we can see with restructuring, are never going to allow him to do whatever he wants to do, whoever the president
exactly.
is. So let me move on to the next question. Let me move on to the next question, Spencer.
Okay,
so is Honourable Hope? Have we got you? I'm hoping that we can. I know that we can have you. I know you're representing Hope Uduzima. Are you there?
No, not yet. He's
not there. Okay, then it's Lady Marlene. I have to come to you now. This question would have been ideal for Dr. Chido, but of course he is proven to be an angry man and not a hungry man. So the question to you is, Igbos, like most Nigerians, believe that competency and excellence should be the best trait for leadership. In this regard, does it really matter where the president of Nigeria hails from? Will a Lagos-born resident of Igbo extraction be acceptable as an Igbo candidate?
Of course, it doesn't. To us, it doesn't matter where you're from, as long as you're an Igbo man. As far as you're from the East, to me, it doesn't matter where you were born, even if you were born in the UK or in the US. As long as you have what it takes to move Nigeria forward and to at least bring those things that were deprived from the Igbos. Like, for instance, when we talk about, I talked about constant intimidation. Can you imagine from Lagos, from Lagos, this is for traders now, going from Lagos to the east, how many checkpoints you see on the road and all that? How many people, Igbos, now are in the higher offices there, let's say in Abuja, for instance, in the cabinet? We don't have them. As long as you have an Igbo man there, somebody from Igbo origin, that will go there, I don't care where you're coming from, we don't care where you're from. That's why I said we don't even care about your political party, where you were born, as long as you're Igbo origin. It will not have.
So then that's what I said to you in the question. So yeah. The origin of the person, it seems to be more important to you than their competency and their excellence.
No. That's what I said. As long as you have what it takes. What I mean, you have what it takes. It's the competency that I mean.
Okay.
What it takes
but it must be an Igbo man. So just to be the devil's advocate, if you're faced with say, just for example, a more competent and more excellent candidate who just happens to be from, I don't know, maybe from Zamfara State, and you've got an Igbo president, maybe he's less competent. I don't want to name any names. Who would you choose?
Trust me, we have Igbos that are more competent than.
Okay, you're being diplomatic. I understand. You're a very good politician. And let me get back to Spencer. Are you there, Mr. Spencer?
I'm here, Femi, yes.
Fantastic. You can take the next question. There's been a perception or misconception that Igbos are hardly united in general and unlikely to align behind any single candidate. Please don't answer this, as I don't think there's any nation in Nigeria that speaks with one voice. What do you say to this?
Well, that's true. Before I answer that one, I'd like to make a point from the last question as well.
Yeah.
Yet again. Now, you're talking about competence, and Lady Marlene rightfully said it. It's fair that you realize and accept that there are competent people across Nigeria, across various tribes. Nigeria has over 300 various different tribes and over 300 different languages. And in each one of those tribes, you have
there's competency.
A competent person who can do the job. So let's not start beating about the bush about someone competent more than a Igbo. We have many people from the Southeast who can do the job better than what we've seen since 1966. We have people who are ready for the job, who are experienced. We have them honestly, we have them in quantum. Yeah. Now, all we need to do is give us that opportunity. When it's our turn, give us that opportunity. Let's produce. And if it doesn't happen, we can now turn around and look back and say, well, when it was the turn of the Igbos, what did he do? You failed. But let us have that opportunity. That's one. Okay. Now, coming back to the question that you're talking about, which is, sorry, can you repeat again? The question is about...
Yeah, so the question was basically about there's a misconception that the Igbos are hardly united. And I'm saying there's hardly any tribe or any nation in Niger that's really united. So
Exactly.
does it really make any difference?
Exactly. Now, when you look at that same flawed argument again, that argument transpired and played out when in 1999, when the Yorubas turned around and voted against Obasanjo. Yeah, you could say it was rigged and all that, but every election, one way or the other, might have an extra third hand in it, right? But at the end of the day, we saw Obasanjo emerge as the president of Nigeria, even though the people from the Southwest didn't want him. They wanted someone else. Yeah? But the point is... The
same could happen in 2023 for an Igbo president.
Yeah, so what I'm trying to say is no particular tribe is totally united. None. Yeah. No tribe is united.
I agree wholeheartedly.
Even in a family. Yeah, no family has all members of that family in one agreement. There must be one or two brothers who don't get along.
And it's more than apparently clear that the North is definitely not one single hegemony.
Anyway, the North themselves, even though they might have one dominant language, the Hausa language, they're still not in. There
are numerous tribes and nations there.
And all of that. And what's happening with Boko Haram. So it's clear that no region has one voice. So let's stop all this argument. Let's make it fair. Let's be fair for once.
So before we go to talking about the particular Southeastern candidates from the Igbo candidates, possible candidates, I want to ask this last one before we go to break and come back to talk specifically about the candidates. And this one's to Lady Marlene. And this is a contribution from a viewer. His name is Professor Jacobs. He says, since the inception of the Third Republic and our present democracy, he says the South, and also by 2023, the South will have ruled 14 years, while the North will have had just 10 years. Northern Egypt. As a result, there's info from Northern intelligence units are saying that they must rule for another 4 years so that they can balance the equation. What do you say to that?
I have nothing to say to that because I believe they have ruled the South. If the South has ruled for 14 years, not Southeast. Southwest, yes, has ruled.
And South.
South, yes. By chance, South came in there and ruled. Not Southeast. We're talking about Southeast, not any other part of South. We're talking about Igbo man. Around they can use every statistics they want to use. Yeah,
but is this balance of the last 23 years actually fair? Is what I'm asking you. You're talking about 23 years from a nation of 63 years of independence. So you're only going to focus on the last 23 years. Does that really make sense?
Yeah, but it's not fair on Igbo man. How many years since when was it? 63 years now. It's not fair on Igbo man.
Doesn't matter.
In there.
Okay, so we're going to go on another short break now. Hopefully we may be able to get Honorable, if we can try and get hold of him, to get him into a good area in Owerri to speak to the possible candidates from the Southeast to become the Igbo president in 2023 for the Federal Republic of Nigeria. Stay tuned to Enough is Enough, Soro Soke. See you after the break.
Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
ẹ sọ fún wọn nílé afẹ́ ò tàbí níbikíbi. Bóyá 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 ò kẹ́gbọ́n mi. Sweet Heart Fruit ń gbẹ́lẹ̀ yìí dé o, ó táwọn yọ. Wow! Here is a good information for everybody. Have the rich taste of fruit in different form at your parties, event, church program, or social engagement like wedding, birthday, conference in your house, and lots more. Fruit cocktails, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration, fruit kebab, and lots more at Sweet Heart Fruit Company. Bẹ́ẹ̀ni, ní gbogbo ibi tí a bá ti ń ṣe àríyá, ìgbéyàwó, ọjọ́ ìbí, àjọ̀dún ilé ìjọsìn, níbi afẹ́ tàbí ibi ìgbádùn àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ, ẹ kàn sí Sweet Heart Fruit ní èyíkéyìí ohun tí ẹ bá fẹ́ kí wọ́n fi fruit dálẹ́rà fún yín bíi fruit cocktail, fruit arrangement, fruit palm tree, smoothie, fruit basket decoration àti bẹ́ẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ lọ. Níbikíbi tí ẹ bá wà, ẹ lè kàn sí wa lórí ẹ̀rọ ìbánisọ̀rọ̀ yìí 079-442-78530 or follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all social media platforms at Sweet Heart Fruit. Oluwaseun Akishoun is the CEO of Sweet Heart Fruit. Patronize us at Sweet Heart Fruit today. You will be glad you business with us.
So enough is enough. It's Soro Soke with my guests. They still remain with us. It's Femi Oke, the host on the show. You can call in on +44 791 809 952. The phone is right here. +44 203 774 7220. You can also post messages and questions on our Facebook handle at Safe Omega Media. Right, before the break, I said we will now look at possible IGBO candidates for 2023 presidency, although none of them has so far, as I'm aware, openly canvassing like the likes of Tinubu and Yaya Bello. Amongst the list that I have, we have the former governor, Obi, who was vice presidential candidate for Atiku. We have Senator Abaribe, yes. We have former Deputy Senate President Ikweremadu. We also have the outgoing Governor Obiano of Anambra. What do you say to these ones? We have some others, but let's speak to these particular ones. Let's start with Spencer. Spencer, you want to unmute your mic?
No, he's
Are you
not.
there?
Spencer, can you hear us? Yeah.
So for me, I lost you there. I couldn't hear you properly. Can you hear me?
Okay, so yeah, we're looking at possible IGBO candidates for 2023 presidential election. Amongst the list, I want to start with this particular list. Is we've got former Governor Obi, was the vice presidential candidate for former Vice President Atiku. We have Senator Abaribe. We have former Deputy Senate President Ikweremadu, and outgoing Governor Obiano of Anambra State. What do you say to this particular list? We have others, but let's talk about these first.
Well, for me, that list wouldn't be my list, and I'm telling you, we have the list. Is
yeah, but let's speak to this list fairly. What do you think of any of these? Let's start with.
Femi, I'm not giving to that list. Femi, let me tell you, that list, right, is part of possible potential candidates, right? But I'll tell you my list. For instance,
we'll get to your list in a minute.
Okay. If you're talking about that list, then the most competent person in that list for me will be the former governor of Anambra State, Peter Obi, right? And I'm going to go across party lines now. Peter Obi, he's shown when he was the governor of Anambra State, he showed developmental strides, the roads, he completed them, the roads that were started by Governor Gige, he completed them. He had a tight hold of the purse of Anambra State. He left a whole lot of money for us, and he has an economic sense. He's a businessman. He's a shrewd businessman. That's the mentality he has. And that's what Nigeria needs. Nigeria needs someone who's competent, who knows what it means to lead, who's not flamboyant, who doesn't want to waste, who's not given to wastage, and someone who knows. Look, for instance, Peter, if you follow these last discussions of his various interviews, you know that he's a man that while he was a governor, he cut down on his entourage. He said, why don't even friends of mine have met him on a flight. Even till today, he gets on a plane, and the former governor is meant to be having police and all. He doesn't have anyone. You understand? And people love him as an individual. If he comes out across whatever party they give him that ticket, I can tell you that Peter Obi will be one that people will need to be worried about.
So he's not been tainted by the corruption scandals of most other politicians,
exactly.
as far as I'm aware.
He hasn't got really any baggage that follows him. And given his outing last time with former Vice President of Nigeria, he's now known in the North. So if he gets the ticket for the PDP, all I'll say to the APC is that they will have a challenge on their hands.
Okay, fine. We'll come to your list, but we'll come to your list. But let me bring Lady Marlene to speak to this list. Most of those people that I mentioned appear to be PDP stalwarts. Let's look within APC. We have recently decamped Ebonyi Governor Umahi, who some say decamped to have a shot at the presidency after being disillusioned in PDP. We also have Senator and former Governor Ojis Kalu. We have also Rochas Okorocha and Ngege, which Spencer mentioned. We also have some current ministers of technology, Bonaya Onu from Ebonyi, and we have current Minister of Foreign Affairs, Jeffrey Onyema. What do you say of this list? These are mainly APC guys. What do you think?
Well, if I name somebody else than not just Okada, I will be in trouble.
Oh, because you're from Abia. Oh my God! So are you falling for the Ibori factor? Huh? You're going to be there, welcoming Ojis Kalu with as he's coming into the state. Are you one of those?
Not just
is that really good for Nigeria?
It's like when you have a blood brother campaigning. In as much as you know your blood brother is not a good person, a contender. You still have to vote for your blood brother.
This is Nigeria. This is politics. I'm quite shocked, but it's your entitlement. It's your entitlement.
If you put it that way, let's be serious now.
Yeah.
Ojis Makalu is the only one that I believe can get the votes from the North amongst the
Not Rochas. Rochas, which some people call him an Igbo, Hausa Igbo man. Not him.
That one. Rogers can be this, but when we talk about corruption and dented names, both of them have it. It's just who has it more than the other.
Who is more recently in the limelight?
Yes, But
Oji's case is still ongoing. Is that the kind of person we want to put forward as the best from the Southeast?
It's also ongoing because I'm not pointing fingers because what's going on in Igbo land now, the instability in Igbo land now, they're pointing fingers to one direction. And I'm not going to name names, but these names, Obanayonu is there for me as number one contender. But we don't really know. You need to have somebody that actually has been in there, somebody that can reach the voices of others. Like when Kingsley Moghalu was there, he was able to tour other states and other nations, other capital cities to win, but without being able to go to especially Kanu. Kanu is one place you have to get their votes before, if you're talking about presidency. And comparing to Rochas and Kanu, I don't think Rocha stand chance in the North if you put both of them out there.
The current Minister of Technology, what about him?
That's why. So that's
He's been doing well in Labour. He's been fighting fire strikes almost every other month. He's got his work cut out, hasn't he?
He's not really known. Some of these are politicians. We know them because they're maybe our tribe or they're doing one or two things. But the main people, the core people that we need there, some places they don't know them. There are places.
He's a former governor of Anambra. So why wouldn't they know him?
There are places you will go and you will call their names, they never heard of them. I'm telling you this for facts. Okay.
So the Minister of Foreign Affairs, what about him? Jeffrey Onyema from Enugu State.
We hardly know him too.
Okay. But is he a competent? Yeah.
Femi, can I say something?
Let me bring Spencer into it. Go on, Spencer. You had your list. You've had your list as well. Go on.
Yeah, on that list you mentioned, right? I'll tell you that if I were the APC, I'd rather go with someone who's a businessman who has national spread, who these politicians can actually back from the Southeast. When I talk about this, I always refer to someone who's made an impact across Nigeria recently, and he's the owner of Airpeace. Yeah,
Okay.
he's one who's known across Nigeria. He has that clout. He was part of the
What's his name?
His name is not there. His name is not in the list, Professor.
Yeah, but he wants to add his name. What's his name? What's his name so that everybody knows him?
His name's Onyema.
Onyema, okay.
Onyema, the owner of
yeah.
Now, not just
he came when there was the problem of xenophobia in South Africa to bring our people back home.
He was instrumental to the amnesty program in the South. Believe it or not. When the IPOB had an issue with all these IPOB, he was the one who took those IPOB members, took them to the north. They aligned and met people like Shetima from the north and all that. And then so he made peace. So he's known in the north. We have a lot of people who are not even in politics, who could actually, they've been proven to be.
Where is Onyema lying his bed now? Where is he lying his head? Is he with APC or PDP, or is he going to stand alone?
He's nowhere. He's a businessman, but obviously, if given the opportunity, he said he would love to serve Nigeria. So that's the point. So what we're saying is, it must be someone who stays politics, because most of the people on the list have one thing or the other. Ojo Zakalo was in prison. I don't know if he's even entitled to run as a president. Has he been pardoned? We're not even sure yet. You talk about Rocha Zakrocha, he has his issues as well. You talk about, Ngige had an issue when he was a governor, right? The APC don't really have people from Igbo extraction who they can hold on to. The PDP has one upper hand on them at the moment with Pitobi, right? So that's why if I were the APC, I'll look outside the box. I'll be looking at people who haven't had that take on their names, who are competent, who are known across Nigeria, who have proven that they are Nigerians, as a state. And this, the honorable MPs has proven that Nigeria.
That was why I initially said that we Igbos we're having a meeting. We scheduled a meeting recently. We're going to come together as one voice, pick somebody, regardless the party. It doesn't have to be APC, it doesn't have to be PDP. We'll pick a person that is competent, and then we'll present that person. Regardless.
Okay. What I would advise, I'm just saying, is that they ought to pick two people, one in the APC camp and one in the PDP camp.
No, that's not the only two parties we have in Igbo.
Well, what I'm suggesting to you is that at the moment we're more or less practicing a two-party system and not putting all your eggs in one basket. I'm saying you need to put someone forward on the APC side, whether he's going to get the ticket or not, and someone on the PDP side, whether he's going to get the ticket or not. But let's look at some other candidates here, which these might be controversial candidates, but I'm going to name them anyway. What of Governor Okowa of Delta State? He's a Delta Igbo. He's people saying he's doing great stuff in the Delta State. You've got Governor Wike of Rivers. I'm not sure whether he's an Igbo. Some people say he's an Igbo. He's also from the South.
He said he's Igbo.
Well, there you go. So then you've got even Goodluck said he was Igbo. I think he's even got an Igbo name. So, but there's also Elumelu. I believe he may also be Delta Igbo as well. And then you've also got I haven't got anyone else here, but now, my question now is, let's Amechi again. I don't know. He's also claiming to be Igbo and everything else. So, what I'm suggesting to you is, does it really matter whether it's a Delta Igbo or from Asaba or anywhere else, or any particular part that he's from? Is as long as there's an Igbo. Does it matter?
It matters because
to you. Okay.
Yes, it matters. Sorry, because when they was it 2017 or whatever, when they picked up, they said, okay, we'll give NNPC to an Igbo man. They picked somebody from Delta Igbo. They picked what's his name, the former NNPC. Spencer, what's his name again?
You're not talking about the minister, the former Ikachi, the former minister of petroleum. Are you talking about him?
Yes, but then it's still not for Igbo. To me, Delta Igbo is not Igbo.
So some Igbos are more Igbo than others. Of course, well, that's what you're saying. I'm not suggesting that. I'm not suggesting that. Yeah, that's the guy. So I mean, the funny thing is, if you go back in history, Asaba was part of the original Western region before the creation of Midwest region in 1963. I mean, is it true that some Igbos are different to other Igbos? Are all Igbo one? We say Igbo Kwenu. When you say Igbo Kwenu.
Femi, let me tell you something, right? When you're talking about Nigeria, we'll talk about the regions, yeah?
Yeah.
Now you're talking about the northwest, northeast, north central, southwest, southeast, and lately we have the south, right? And those people you talk about fall under the south. We're talking about regions. It's not about.
So they've had their.
When you talk about the region, when you're talking about the region where we're talking about people from the southeast, yeah, and they're predominantly Igbos. So that's what we're talking about. We want someone from the southeast. We don't want anyone who's an Igbo person from the south or an Igbo person from the southwest. There are Igbos in the southwest who will come out and say
absolutely. That's what I meant
from the southeast. There are Igbos from the north who are northern, who will tell you they grew up in the north and all that. We want someone who's an Igbo man, who knows the plight of the Igbos, who knows about the marginalization, who knows how it is. We want someone who can come in and address some of the issues. We're talking about constitutional reform. We're talking about restructuring. We're talking about all these issues that we know that Nigerian would make Nigeria move forward.
Okay, fine. I don't mean to cut you in. I don't mean to cut you in your flow, Spencer. But time is really against us. But let me say this: Nigerians will be saddened. I mean, those who are watching our program to hear us regurgitating the same old names of what many consider as inept, corrupt old politicians who have put us in the mess we are in. What about the new crop of politicians such as Mogalu? What about Elumelu? You mentioned the Air Peace chap Onyema. Or what about the innocent CEO? What do you say to those? Spencer, Mr. Spencer.
What I'll say is those people need to actually line and join one of the two major parties for them to even stand a chance. The problem we had with Kingsley Moghalu one time was it seemed that to me he just wanted to have a political outing so people could get to know him, and then possibly in 2023 he might come back and join either the PDP or the APC. Anyone joining any other party in Nigeria is like in the UK, for instance. You want to become the Prime Minister and you don't join the Conservatives or the Labour Party. Or in the United States, you want to become the President and you don't join the Democrats or the Republicans. You're only joking. You're having a laugh. You need to align with one of the two major parties. So someone like Elumelu, we have a lot of them. I told you from the beginning, we have so many people who are competent, but they actually need to go into the major parties. And the problem they will have, again, is if they need to come into these parties, they need to join the queue. You can't just turn up with a party that's, for instance, the APC, where Rochas Okorocha has made a lot of financial contributions to, or even Odjus Okalu, and then suddenly you think you're going to come and get the ticket. It doesn't work that way. That's not how politics works. So, we're saddled with the same people, really. But that's what I'm saying to you, that we need people who have the money. People like, I think it's Vincent Onyema. Is it Vincent? The owner of APC. People like him.
Even Elumelu as well, he has money.
People like Elumelu, they could come in with their money because they have the money, they have the political clout, they have the power, and they need to join one of the two major political parties to stand a chance. Sorry. For me, in closing, for it to work, I suggest that if Nigeria is fair, if Nigeria is going to be equitable for once, the two major political parties need to field someone from the southeast. Now, the PDP will present through the primaries or whatever, they'll have a candidate from the southeast. The APC through the primaries have someone from the southeast too. And then that way, we'll have a president from the south. And all these things about IPOP and all that, it will become things of the past.
Just like in 1999, when the two main candidates was Obasanjo and Falaye. I want to take the next question to Marlene. Many are saying, Lady Marlene, it's time for a female president, as the men have largely failed us. Nigeria appears to have increasing love and admiration for the First Lady, Aisha Buhari, than the president himself. What about the ladies like Obi Ezekwesili or Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala?
Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, number one. Anytime she comes up, the whole of people and Nigeria will vote for her. I don't know about Ezekwesili, because I mean, once you have Ezekwesili was actually in YPP at the time, I believe, or one of these political parties.
She was also in PDP.
Yes, and then PDP. And when there's once there's a scandal, whether you're a woman or a man, you shouldn't even come out again. So, but Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala has actually made Nigeria proud in both national and internationally. If she comes up, I believe she will do better than every single male that has ever been the president of Nigeria. Well, I also advocate for women, all right, but right now I'm not saying we need a female president. Maybe deputy, maybe vice president to start with.
Well, as Ngozi Konjela, she got the political wherewithal to be able to stomach the fight, whilst she's also the World Trade Organization, head.
Maybe she can, but don't forget that Nigeria has a religious problem, and that problem will continue there until something is done. Especially when we are not divided. When we are divided with Christianity and Islam, it's a big problem. And for us to have a female president, it's gonna be one heck of a time.
Okay. Well, we've looked at some of the possible candidates you've mentioned. Is there anyone else that you want to mention, or we should hold it there and then we'll go on a break and then come back with some current affairs issues? Are there any other candidates that I haven't mentioned? Spencer?
David Duke. You think he's qualified enough?
David Duke, is he not from the South, Cross River State?
Yeah.
You're talking about Donald Duke.
Donald Duke. Is he not from the South? Is he Kalabari? Is he Igbo?
You're talking about the Igbo candidates.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing they always say, that the good ones don't want to come out. The good ones don't want to run. Like you mentioned Onyema, I don't think wants to come out as a
to sort himself. Just like Dangote, I doubt if Dangote would want to delve into politics. He's said in his book that he's been told don't get involved in politics. Maybe we'll get someone like a Trump one day, who knows? Anyway, let's go on another break and we'll come back and look at current affairs. You're watching Enough is Enough, Soro Soke. See you after the break. How are we doing?
Hi guys, my name is Yabo and I am the founder of Masasi B. If you're looking for unique African-inspired clothing and accessories, please check out my brand. All details are at the end of this video. Feel free to get in touch. Thank you.
Welcome back to the show, Enough is Enough, Soro Soke, with my guests who remain with us. You can call in on +44 791 809 952, +44 203 774 7220. You can also post on Facebook handle Safe Omega Media. We're now going to go into some current affairs matters. Starting with, Mr. Spencer. Insecurity remains the lexicon that won't go away. We have just had the release of 29 kidnapped students from Kaduna University. Will this see the end of kidnapping in Nigeria? Spencer, what do you say?
Thanks, Femi, once again. From the way I see things in Nigeria at the moment, let me tell you, kidnapping and all that is all born from really poverty. You have a whole lot of unemployed youth running around Nigeria. You have a lot of graduates being churned out every year, no jobs for them. You have a high level of illiteracy in Nigeria, and people are just looking for what to do to earn money. So kidnapping for most people these days, it used to be a case of where people, a friend of mine actually, that's it, a friend of mine had his mom, a doctor in the UK, Dr. Chuksasagora, had his mom kidnapped a few days ago and she was luckily released. You know, this is another story, a long story anyway. So kidnapping is real. It's something that's, you know, this was in Imo State. The outskirts, you know, outskirts of Owerri. This happened a few days ago. So the reason why I'll say it's not gonna, we're not gonna see an end in sight at the moment is we need to address a whole lot of stuff in Nigeria first before you can even start seeing vices like this being eliminated from the society. Kidnapping now is a business. You know, it used to be a case of once people were kidnapped, they were killed and all that. You can see that it wasn't a business. It was to do with maybe people being hired to go and kill someone. But now it's a business. And there's different levels of kidnapping. People can kidnap you for even 500,000, you know, or 100,000. There's even as low as they said 50K, which is like £100. So it's become a business. So at the moment, as long as we have unemployment in Nigeria, high levels of it, which we do have, as long as we have high levels of illiteracy and poverty, these vices are here to stay for a long time.
Criminality is not going to go away. Good. I want to ask Lady Marlene, Vice President Oshibanjo says the elite must come to the fore and speak to avert disaster, as when any war, which some people are agitating for, comes, it will engulf all of us. What do you say to that?
Is Nigeria going to go into war? I don't think so. Like Spencer said, it's hunger, agitation, yes. A lot of the North, the South, and the East, they're all agitating for one thing because of this insecurity in Nigeria. If, and I must say this, the first president, he actually, how do I put it now? I'm so disappointed the way he's been handling his seat. Because first of all, somebody will come out and say, where is the, I put in something the other day, where is the president to advise the nation, to address the nation on what's insecurity in Nigeria? He hasn't come out to do anything. The agitation or war coming up, I don't think there's any war coming, ever going to, Nigeria is not going to go into war. If the vice president thinks that it's going to happen, it's not going to happen. All they need to do, him in the power of should sit up and then advise his people, the Oduduwa people that are really following IPOB, it's not Biafra now, following the Biafra IPOB footsteps. The elders there should sit down and speak and talk to their people. And then, you know, like I said, Ohaneze is trying to calm down the situation in Southeast. And I believe it will work. The dialoguing, that's the main thing. If we dialogue better and then agree on one thing or the other, it will calm down and there's no war coming anywhere happening. And then considering what Spencer was talking about, saying about kidnapping, it's not just a hunger thing. It's something orchestrated from the North. Through not just the Boko Haram, through the certain people that decided, okay, the only way we can destabilize the government is by messing up the security of the nation. So it's a political thing.
So that's part of it. That might be part of it, but the underlying poverty and hunger is still prevalent. That's definitely not something that's going away anytime soon.
Because if we agree mainly that it's the Fulanis that started this and the herdsmen that started this thing, with them it's not hard.
I'm not necessarily agreeing that. I think there's a difference between Boko Haram and what they're doing. Banditry is another matter. Kidnapping is also another matter. I don't conflate them and say they're all of one origin. They're completely different. And as I say, criminality doesn't have an ethnicity. Anybody can be subject to kidnapping. Anybody can be subject to murder and whatnot. So, but let me ask you another question, which is bordering on the sense of criminality and insecurity that's happening in Nigeria. We've had the recent case of Betta9ja, the Nollywood actor who was has been accused of pedophilia, and you know, we've had also the lady from Akwa Ibom who was going for an interview and was assaulted, and I think she was even killed, if I'm right in saying. This incidence of pedophilia and rape has become a pandemic in Nigeria. where are we going to, and we've got an ineffective police, we've got a comatose judiciary, which is not autonomous. What is the way forward to quell this horror that is rape and pedophilia in Nigeria?
There's so much with Betta9ja on. It was so pitiful that I'm a mother and a grandmother. That when I didn't see the video, but the way they described it, especially Yabo or Jody, the way she described the whole thing, like it was like putting me into the scene where they watched the video together. And thank God he's now going to face charges. He almost missed getting justice for the mother of this child. Nearly missed getting justice because of celebrity war. But the young girl in Akwa Ibom is just to show you what Nigeria has turned into. An orphan that finished uni and looking for a job saw this advertised and went for an interview. It's greed. You can't tell me something else. It's greed that drove those boys. I almost.
The one you're talking about, the Akwa Ibom one, yeah?
Yes, the Akwa Ibom one. It was greed that drove that. Sometimes even these kidnapping things, it's greed. The money they're making, like Spencer said, is the money, the greed, the money the small change they're getting.
But like Spencer said, education, without the education, the quality of education is really a problem in Nigeria, and that's also having an impact. Let me just go to, because we're running out of time, let me go back to Spencer on that point of education. Look, it seems that there's an onslaught on education in the north. We've got Boko Haram telling you can't read, Western education is sinful. You've got kidnapping of students in universities all over the place, in schools. There seems to be an outright onslaught on stopping the north from being educated. But the north that's already educationally backward, how can we quell this? You've got poverty, now you're giving on lack of education. We're in a serious state in Nigeria.
Yeah, you're right, Femi. That's the thing, because it seems to me that the political elite are, on purpose, are deliberately not wanting to make sure that education goes to certain parts of Nigeria. Yes, it's been.
To what purpose does it serve?
Yeah, it's been historically accepted that the North, given to Islam and all of that, are not easily accepting Western style of education. They have their Arabic and their Islamic way of education, right? But there is this problem with Nigeria where when you look at every budget that Nigeria puts out, since 1999, only a small amount of money is put into education. So if you look at the last budget, the amount of money that's put into education in terms of getting the right training for the teachers, getting, even in the South, the level of education down here is really, really poor. And we're not just talking about education in terms of classroom education. We're talking about public enlightenment. That's what I call education, really. Enlightening the public about the way politics works. A typical Nigerian doesn't even know. They still have this military rule mentality. And that's the problem you have in Nigeria. In the North, you have this issue where most Northerners think in the Islamic way. That's the way they reason, right? They think about how one man...
but even Islam still has education. If you go Saudi Arabia, Dubai, all of them, they're still following the education. Even though they're Arabs, they're not saying that education, is not to be the forefront of what they're doing.
Islam is notorious for not wanting people to be educated. Only recently were women even allowed to drive in Saudi Arabia, and that's education. That's enlightenment.
But they're very educated out there. I mean, some of the innovations in mathematics and science all came from the Muslim world as well. So I mean, it's not like education should be an anathema. And let me not dwell on that. So that's a big problem. But going back to your other point where you talked about a land, you cannot have security in a land bedeviled with poverty. And to that effect, I say you've got three key factors which I say are hampering Nigeria's development. One is inadequate transport infrastructure. Two is inadequate power supply and infrastructure. And three, poor service delivery by evil servants masquerading as civil servants. We've had 16 years of mediocre PDP, and they never did anything on that. Now we have 6 years, some say, of agonizing APC. What's the way forward? How are we going to move things forward to solve these key issues? Because without these three key elements being solved, we will continue to have poverty, and poverty will bedevil, and then we'll have more and more criminality. What do you say to this?
Yeah, Femi, you're right. All I've got to say is Nigeria needs to come to the point where we need to be able to look at ourselves and tell ourselves the truth. The truth is that the current crop of political leaders have failed us. They've failed, they continue to fail, and that's why Nigerians, that's why I'm talking about education, I'm talking about enlightenment education. Nigerians need to stand for people they believe in. If, for instance, someone comes out in a certain political party, you know, vote for the person. If someone comes and is elected as your representative, hold him to account. That's the problem. Nigerians don't even know who's liable. Everything to them is the federal level. Everything Buhari is the problem. But you have senators who are representing you directly on the federal level. You have House of Rep members who are representing you on a wider scale on the federal level. You have State House of Assembly members. Yeah,
and you have governors.
You have people on the lower scale, local government chairman, everything. Now, we tend to not, because the people are not educated, all they care about is the president. And politicians are smart, they always misguide and point to the wrong people and tell them that's your problem. Meanwhile, we know that's not the problem. So for me, education, enlightenment, when I mean education, not about writing your name and reading and all that. No, it's all about enlightenment. In the UK, for instance, and the USA, not everyone's educated. Not everyone can write their names properly. No one's affluent, or I don't know how to put it, literate in the sense of knowing mathematics and knowing English and all that. But most of them are enlightened. They know what's right for them. They know that, look, if this person is my MP, for instance, and he needs to have an office, I need to be able to reach him. I need to see him as a servant. Not in Nigeria where you see people who are elected masquerading and roaming around like they're gods. So that's the thing. People themselves, the people who voted them in, worship them. And that's the problem. But if we have people educated to know that, look, this is a servant. He needs to be worshipping you, knowing that you could even get him out of his job. And that's the problem. So we need a lot of enlightenment in Nigeria. That's the main issue we need to really impact on.
And there's a last question on that note. Lady Marlene, enlightenment, with less than 2 years to go to the 2023 elections, we don't know who the possible candidates are. There's hardly any enlightenment and no vision for the way forward. Which way forward, Nigeria, 2023?
2023, the way forward is just be calm. Everybody should be calm. Let's speak, let the Igbos speak who represent them, and we'll all follow up. That's all I will advise. We will get somebody that will lead Nigeria, that will open doors, that will make Nigeria better again.
Thank you very much, Marlene, and thank you, Spencer, for joining us on this show. I want to thank everyone else for joining us tonight's show. Enough is enough. Please make sure Soro Soke. Don't be shy. Don't be silent. If you see something, say something. If you can't take it no more, do something. Naija go better. We all want a better Naija. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact the numbers on your screen. I'm your host, Mr. Femi Oke, founder of Betta9ja, signing out. See you same time next week when we will debate another hot topic. Over and out.